Hi, this is Keith Weaver with the Top Executive Strategy Podcast, where CEOs, COOs, and business owners share strategies for better success. This is 6 questions in 9 minutes because the best strategies are concise business advice. And so we're going to get right to our guest today. And with question number 1, in a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
My name is John Barry. I'm the CEO of Barry Law. We're America's veterans law firm. We help veterans appeal disability decisions when the VA denies them the benefits that they've earned. We're also a large trial practice firm where we do criminal defense, personal injury, but we love to help veterans, and much of our mission is focused on getting veterans the benefits they've earned.
Well, personally, as a veteran, that's something that's very important to me. And I'm glad that there's firms like you out there that can help them. So great to have you on. Thank you for being here. So question number 2.
Thanks so much for having me.
Not a problem. Question number 2. What's the best thing about being a business leader?
Developing your team. I think back to when I was the happiest I was. I was a young second lieutenant in Fort Hood, and I had my non-commissioned officers showing up at 5 in the morning. PT was at 5:30. They were raring to go. They were always willing to help build the team, help each other, being part of a championship team. And when you're the leader, you get to build your team, and you get to own everything about that team for better or worse. And that's what's so great about being a business leader. You get to build a great team.
That's awesome. And it sounds like you have been doing that, and we wish you the best success in continuing that. So question number 3, I hear from other business leaders that their people strategy is often more challenging and more complicated than their actual business strategy in running their business. Your thoughts on that?
I agree. I mean, the business strategy itself is sometimes just a math problem, but it's the people that it becomes very difficult to navigate certain things. I mean, your job as the leader is to make your people even better. And you can't motivate someone, right? If they're not motivated, you're not going to motivate them. But you got to give them the tools to get to where they need to go. That is your responsibility as a leader. You know, when I was a company commander in Iraq, it was my job to take care of America's sons and daughters. And I feel the same responsibility as a business owner. If someone's going to come work at Barry Law, we got to make them even better. If I can't do that, then I am failing them and I'm failing my team.
That's a good definition of what a good leader is. So much different than a manager or anyone else. So nice answer. Thank you. So question number 4, what strategy would you really like to share with other business leaders today?
I'd really like to talk about effective delegation. As a leader, we hear a lot about, oh, the leader's micromanaging. You can't be a micromanager, and you won't be a micromanager if you have the right people. So you solve most problems with who, not how to do it. In the Army, we have a mission statement that always starts with who. Who's going to conduct the mission? Once you figure it out, you're going to be fine. And in fact, in the mission statement, we have the who, what, the when, where, the why. We don't have the how because we hire leaders to figure out the how. And so when we delegate, we need to be clear on the task, conditions, and standards. We need to answer all the questions, make sure that that leader knows expectations, and then let that leader go. Don't micromanage. And sometimes it's scary, right? Because if you're really going to delegate, you have to be willing to let that leader fail. And if the leader fails, it could greatly affect your business. But that's the risk you have to take if you want to scale. You have to have responsible people. You have to give them opportunities. And yes, they're going to fail. But if you as a leader can coach them and get them back on top, it's going to pay huge dividends. It's going to allow you to scale. And those leaders will build more leaders. That's effective delegation. That's getting stuff done. It's finding the right people, giving them challenges, giving them direction and purpose. They'll have the motivation. But if you don't have those people, you can't get stuff done. And I hear all the time, people hate to delegate. They hate to delegate because stuff doesn't get done. They have to double check. Well, then you hired the wrong person. If you hire the right person, you give them a clear mission statement, answer their questions, they will get it done. They'll get it done right. And if they don't get it done right, then great, you get a chance to learn, right? If they fail, let them fail forward, pick them up, give them feedback. Feedback is a gift, and they'll they'll get it done right the next time.
Well, and I really like that. One of the things that I always talk to people about is the fact that if you hire the right people and you put them in the right situation, they will rise to the occasion. And you have to give them the tools, as you mentioned, but people impress me all the time because they will rise to the occasion and prove you right, so to speak, of what their potential are. So that's a great strategy.
Although I would caution you that sometimes we say we don't rise to the level of expectation, we fall to the level of our training. Right. So I agree, if you challenge someone, you will get great things out of them, but keep in mind, you still as a leader must make sure that they're adequately trained as well.
Very good point. And that's part of that culture and the whole business strategy there. But well, great answer. I really like that strategy. So question number 5, what other business leaders, owners, CEOs like yourself would you like to do a shout out to, or you think would be good on the podcast?
When I think back to the leaders, I really enjoyed working with Colonel Gary Ropers, who was a brigade commander. When he was my battalion commander, he would just tell me, here's what we need to do. Go do it. And I loved a leader that could delegate. That's how I got a lot done, because he wasn't breathing down my neck. He wasn't telling me how to do it. He gave me a mission. He challenged me, and he pushed me. I've worked with a lot of great leaders. I can't even stop. I would just, my head would explode that there's been so many, and I've been very fortunate. Some of them have been peers. Some of them have been people that I've hired that have been leaders to me. Our CTO, Gordon Bjorman, he was a colonel in the Army. He was a G6. He comes, basically means he's in charge of intel communications. He came in, not only did he help with our communication systems, but he's been a great mentor to me. And he's a subordinate. I'm the CEO, he's the CTO, but he's the guy that's giving me the wisdom, right? He's actually leading without a title. So when I think of a lot of the leaders I've learned the most from, a lot of times it comes back to the military, just because that's where the building blocks for me were formed. And so that's where I go back to. It's what I understand. It's the structure. I've worked with, I got a lot of great advice early on from the founder of Grunt Style, Daniel Alaric, great guy. I went to talk to him and said, hey, how can I build my business? How can I do these things? And he just took the time to sit down and talk to me. And I thought that was phenomenal, because we were hiring veterans. He was hiring veterans. We were trying to come up with a strategy. His company was 5 times the size of mine, but he sat down and talked to me, and it was a mentor to me. And I appreciate it when people who have gone where I'm going will take the time to tell me the things I need to worry about, to tell me what the future looks like. I love people like that. And I've been so fortunate. There have been countless people in my life who have been there, and most of them have been veterans. And that's why I am such a strong advocate for veterans.
The military is a great training and proving ground for leadership. And, and one thing that you kind of alluded to is leadership is less of a position and more really of a mental state and a mentality of how you do things. And developing leaders is a part of that, obviously. But well, great. Well, you've maybe already answered it a little bit, but question number 6, a final fun question. Tell me about one of your favorite past bosses.
I have so many. Most of them have been in the military. My father was my first boss in the law, and he was very well known for developing young trial lawyers. And a lot of times what he would do is he'd have them prepare the case. They'd show up in court, and they would think they were just assisting him. And then there'd be a minor witness, and he'd say, go get him, right? They'd make him cross-examine the witness. And so he was much of a trial by fire type of a guy. And when I started traveling around the state, trying cases, prosecutors, judges, everybody knew my dad and always talked about what a gentleman he was, how collegial he was. And after they tried cases, they'd go out for beers and steaks. And then even though, it was all blood and guts during the trial, they were able to be friends afterwards. And so he really taught me through his reputation about collegiality. And, there's a lot of competition in the business world, right? Your competitor, when you're drowning, your competitors want to stick a hose in your mouth and drown you and win, right? And that's the fierceness of competition. But also understand that one of your greatest assets as a leader is going to be your social capital. Those people who you work with day in and day out, whether they're your competitors, your allies, you have to develop those relationships. And if you're a good person, they're going to want to help you succeed. And fierce competition is great. I love, some of my fiercest competitors, I love competing because they make me even better. And that's why, once again, it comes back to the military, right? I love the challenge. I love working with people who want to be challenged. I love people who want to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And so I've had plenty of leaders out there that have built my mindset around that, John, the next level is going to be a lot more difficult than this one. And you need to get ready. And here's where you are. Here's where you're going. But it's always been about the people, the mentors. And if you're a mentor to somebody, you're going to get that back. So I would, once again, to answer your question, I've had several favorite bosses. In fact, I can't think of a bad boss. And usually if someone says their boss is bad, they'll say their next boss is bad and their next boss is bad because they can't take responsibility. But you hire a real champion, a real hero, I'll tell you what, they'll get along with any boss. Why? Because they know how to lead. They know how to adapt in the situation, and they know how to lead without a title. And so even though they may not have the title, they're the de facto boss. And I think that in great organizations, everybody's a leader. Everybody's a boss of something, and everybody takes extreme ownership of the problems in the company. They step forward. And at the end of the day, we point the thumb, not the finger, right? We point it at us. And so I worked with a lot of great bosses, and some of those bosses on our org chart worked for me, but they took over a certain area of the practice or of my life that they owned, and they were relentless at pursuing perfection. I mean, I love working with those people.
Well, great insights. I wish we had more time to continue the discussion. Unfortunately, we are about out of time. But before we go, can you tell people how they can connect with you or reach out to you?
Sure. The easiest way is at berrylawfirm.com with a B, B-E-R-R-Y, berrylawfirm.com, or just call us 1-888-883-2483. We hire a lot of veterans. We won the Department of Labor Award 2 years in a row, the highest award, the Platinum Medallion for hiring veterans. So on this show, if there's veterans that want to work with other veterans on a team that miss that camaraderie, please reach out to us. We love working with other veterans. We love being part of a mission that helps veterans, and we are always looking for more stars on our team.
Great. And thank you so much again for being here and for your insights. And this is Keith Weaver with the Top Executive Strategy Podcast. And for more insights and to follow us, you can follow us at Weaver Business Coaching on LinkedIn. And of course, you can listen to us on your favorite podcast platform. And we wish you the best success.
Thanks, Keith.